All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I did not wake up today thinking that I would see a video of the Dalai Lama asking a little boy to suck on his tongue, but it's a crazy world that we living in. Now, obviously, this is going viral and everyone's talking about it because this is the Dalai Lama we talking about. A lot of people look up to him from all over the world, particularly this guy, Jay Michaelson, a columnist for the Rolling Stones, who we're about to watch try to defend the Dalai Lama's actions. We're about to get into this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we watching. Now let's roll it.
The Dalai Lama, the Tibetan spiritual leader, is apologizing after a video shows him kissing a young boy on the mouth at a spiritual service in India and then asking the boy to suck his tongue.
Then I think finally here also. And suck my tongue.
I'm back now with my very eager panel to talk about this. Jay, you've met the Dalai Lama many times. Have you sucked his tongue?
I have not. The Dalai Lama is a very playful human being, and we may see this in a weird, kind of gross, sexualized way. But this is about as sexual as a bowl of plain rice. There is nothing sexual or erotic happening in this encounter.
Yeah, as far as you don't know what's going on down there with the Dalai Lama. And I'm not making this video to disrespect the Dalai Lama, but that video of him asking the boy to suck his tongue is terrible optics. It just looks bad. It looks really bad. But let's hear his explanation for this.
As you can see by the reaction of the people who are there, Tibetan culture just has different boundaries around. We see the tongue as it's what we kiss with, it's sexualized, it's this, and of course that this is offensive to us, as it should be. It's not seen that way in Tibetan culture. This is a part of the body. It's something playful. It was clearly a mistake. The apology was in order. This was clearly something that was at best, insensitive to how this would be seen by a large swath of the world population.
All right, so you guys heard that. He said that in Tibet, the tongue is not seen as something sexual. Everyone was laughing in the room. It's okay. But I put up this article so we could get a bit of insight ourselves. So let's read right here. What does Tibetan culture say about the action? In traditional Tibetan culture, sticking out one's tongue is a show of respect or agreement and was frequently done as a greeting, as per a report by the Institute of East Asian Studies, UC Berkeley. According to Tibetan tradition, a terrible 9th century Tibetan ruler had a black tongue. Thus, people put their tongues out to demonstrate that they are not like him and are not his reincarnation. In the film 7 Years in Tibet, Brad Pitt's character sees a group of Tibetans who all stick out their tongues at him at the same time. Although no explanation is provided, this custom has a lengthy history as explained by an LA Times report. Lang Dharma, a wicked 9th century Tibetan monarch, was described to have a black tongue. Tibetans who are Buddhists believe in reincarnation and were concerned that the king might be reborn. As a result, Tibetans have greeted one another for generations by putting out their tongues, proving that they do not have black tongues and are not guilty of wicked actions and are not avatars of the malicious king. To back up what this guy just said on CNN, yes, in Tibet, the tongue is seen as a sign of respect when you stick out your tongue. Okay, got it. But I read nothing in there about sucking tongues. That's an entirely different situation. And I think the fact that he apologized for it is proof that that's not widely accepted in Tibetan culture to be asking little boys to suck your tongue. But let's continue.
But it seems clear from the video, and look, I'm biased. I mean, the Dalai Lama is one of my spiritual heroes. I have met him. Being in his presence is really one of the most powerful experiences I've had in my life. And the aura of loving kindness that he has is evident even here, where he's being playful in a way that in Western culture would certainly be inappropriate.
But, I mean, part of also what we're picking up on is the boy doesn't want to do it. He's taking the boy's head. I mean, we're just sort of reading the body language here. I'll take your word for it that it's seen differently there culturally, but the boy doesn't seem to be wanting to participate in this.
Well, I don't know. The boy's face is appropriately is blanked out. We have no idea what his facial expression was. I don't see that in the body language. I just see kind of a weird moment. And again, look, this is an 80-something, year old spiritual leader who's been celibate for his entire life. Unlike, we see a religious figure in a position of power, and we read it through our lens. We're scarred by generations of Catholic Church sexual scandals, and by by abuses by spiritual teachers of all varieties, including some of my fellow rabbis in the Jewish tradition. And we see that through that lens, as well we should. But that's not necessarily the lens that a different culture might see this interaction through.
Anybody have any other thoughts?
I would just say that, I get that there are different culture issues, but shouldn't the Lama have read this boy's body language? Watching that video, I saw the boy recoil and seem unsure. Yes, we didn't get to see his face. Maybe he was smiling.
Generations of Catholic Church sexual in the body language. I just see kind of a weird moment. And again, look, this is an 80-something, year old spiritual leader who's been celibate for his entire life. Unlike, we see a religious figure in a position of power, and we read it through our lens. We're scarred by generations of Catholic Church sexual scandals and by abuses by spiritual teachers of all varieties, including some of my fellow rabbis in the Jewish tradition.
I understand the argument about culture that he's making, and I understand the juxtaposition he's making to the Catholic Church. I get it, but again, the sucking of tongues, where is that in the Tibetan culture? The sticking out tongues, yes, we just read up on that. But the sucking of tongues, that's where it gets funky for me. And I would say most people. I'm all for respecting people's culture, but show me where what the Dalai Lama did is a normal occurrence in Tibet. I get it, this guy's a huge admirer of the Dalai Lama. He's met him before, he looks up to him a lot. But you got to step back from your bias a little bit on this one, champ.
And we see that through that lens, as well we should. But that's not necessarily the lens that a different culture might see this interaction through.
Anybody have any other thoughts?
I would just say that, I get that there are different culture issues, but shouldn't the Lama have read this boy's body language? Watching that video, I saw the boy recoil and seem unsure. Yes, we didn't get to see his face. Maybe he was smiling. But at the same time, the Lama should have also been respectful there. And I have very much enjoyed the Lama and his teachings. I think he is a powerful force in the world. But what happened was weird. And then from a crisis communication standpoint, which is my bread and butter these days, I thought they absolutely bungled it. The apology, it seemed like a very breezy apology.
Okay, I'll read it. His Holiness wishes to apologize to the boy and his family, as well as his many friends across the world, for the hurt his words may have caused. His Holiness often teases people he meets in an innocent and playful way, even in public and before cameras. He regrets the incident.
It wasn't just his words, it was his actions. And that they should have also said.
I didn't know he was called the Lama. Is that what you call him? The Lama? Is that right?
His Holiness.
Not really? Okay, I know the Lama. So I shouldn't say that.
No,
okay,
His Holiness.
I don't believe it. So he's not,
The Dalai Lama.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama, him. I know it's not sexual. Can I not overly intellectualize this and just say it's kind of gross? That when he says to the little boy, "Do you want to suck my tongue?" I just, kind of want to change the channel.
I mean, having raised a child, my daughter's 5 years old now, we had to set boundaries around what's appropriate for strangers to do with my child's face on the subway in New York City. People reach up and do all kinds of non-consensual touching that we felt was not appropriate, squeezing her cheeks and do this and doing that. And you see it all the time. And I think it is something that as parents we want to be sensitive to. And it's not unique to this particular interaction. This is something that is true in our own culture as well, just in different ways.
Ripley?
No, it definitely made me uncomfortable to watch that. Can't deny that. Maybe there was specific cultural context in which it was appropriate. It was it was uncomfortable to watch for sure. But I think you're kind of touching on this larger point that children so oftentimes, especially in our society, don't have any bodily autonomy. They aren't able to say no when they don't want to be touched. The idea is, oh, you have to give grandma a hug, you have to give grandma a kiss. You're not allowed to have control over your own body. So I think maybe we can have that conversation now, just kind of looking at this.
But really helpful. Thank you, Jay. Thanks for giving us a different lens through which to look at it, because it's a little startling.
Well, I'm glad most of the people here on this panel see a red flag. It seems like only this guy who has met the Dalai Lama was trying his absolute hardest to, cope and make this seem like it wasn't really so bad. But I wish they would have this same energy with things that go on in our own country with, the sexualization of children. They made a big argument about grandma, giving kids a kiss and giving kids hugs and people touching kids' cheeks. But we got schools where you got porn inside of school libraries, and you got teachers who want to, keep kids after class and keep secrets from them. And, they want to convince kids that it's okay to keep secrets from parents. If we're going to look at this as wrong, if we're going to look at this as nasty, we need to look at everything nasty equally across the board. And it's actually funny with all of this news about the Dalai Lama going viral. I saw a video on Twitter today of Joe Biden, getting real close and getting real friendly, sniffing kids. And
you're going to stand right next to me. There you go. And then we're going to have.
There you go.
Got it? Okay.
And if you want the back, you can spread out a little bit.
You're welcome to the front row. Do you remember what I told you? Smile. No, not smile. No date till you're 30. All right. Hey, Angel, how old are you? 12. You're 12. What's your name? How are you? The problem is, you guys, you got a hard time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, sister. I like kids better than people.
Yeah. Okay.
Grandpa's one of the good guys.
That's nice of you to say.
No, I'm not saying. He knows it. Do you know what my dad used to say? His granddaughters have one important job.
Touching little girls on their waists and, and caressing their arms and sniffing their hair. All type of weird stuff. Let's talk about that. Let's keep the same energy, keep kids safe, and keep kids innocent. So to wrap this video up, you guys, I thought it was weird. I thought it was creepy. That's just my opinion. I know I'm not Tibetan. I don't understand fully the Tibetan culture, but I didn't read or see anywhere where it says sucking tongues is, a normal occurrence or accepted or, cool. That gets a pass. And the Dalai Lama's apology, which I'm not even sure if he wrote himself, maybe he had constituents or people write it for him. He apologized for his words, but not for his actions, which was a little bit weird. But with all that being said, let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe when we're at the door. And until next time, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.